Hi everyone! Today, I bring you a fascinating story full of mystery and wonder about a girl who, from a very young age, knew her life would be different from everyone else's and with whom I feel a connection. Get ready to meet someone with a truly extraordinary gift, able to see and feel things most of us can't even imagine. She had unsettling dreams, so intense that sometimes she couldn't even sleep. Every night, while the rest of the house slept, her mind filled with strange images and feelings. It wasn't unusual for her to wake up startled, her heart racing, wondering if what she had seen was real or just her imagination. But the only thing for sure was that sooner or later, a ghost would appear to her in her dreams or even when she woke up. These presences weren't just shadows. Sometimes she felt they were trying to communicate with her, whispering secrets or asking for help. For such a young girl, this could be terrifying, but it also awakened an insatiable curiosity within her. Dear friends, I'm Matthew Kerner, and today we'll be talking about the great medium Alison Dubois. Her story has inspired thousands of people around the world, and her life shows that sometimes the strangest gifts can become a blessing if we learn to accept and understand them. From a very young age, Alison knew she was different. While other children played and laughed without a care in the world, she felt there was something more than what met the eye, something calling to her from the other side. Her thoughts were deep, and she often got lost in her own world, trying to understand what was happening to her. Born in Phoenix, Arizona, Alison began experiencing paranormal events from an early age. The desert heat and the quiet of her neighborhood contrasted with the whirlwind of emotions and visions that accompanied her day after day. Every corner of her home could become a stage for the inexplicable. Her parents, at first, didn't understand what was happening. They saw their daughter as different, sometimes scared, other times absorbed in thoughts impossible to decipher. They wondered if it was just childhood imagination or if there was really something deeper going on in her life. She talked to imaginary friends who turned out to be spirits. For Alison, these presences were as real as any person, and her conversations often left those who heard her perplexed. Little by little, her parents began to notice that her stories matched facts or people Alison couldn't possibly know. Alison's drawings weren't just simple children's scribbles, but representations of what she saw in the spiritual world. Each stroke, each color, told a story that went far beyond fantasy. So from a very young age, Alison Dubois began to leave her mark on the world, showing that her gift was as real as it was mysterious. Imagine being a little girl and seeing ghosts, not monsters under the bed or shadows on the wall, but real figures, presences as alive as any person. For most kids, the dark is just an empty space, but for Alison, it was a door to another world. From a very young age, her life was full of strange things, moments when she felt she wasn't alone, even though no one else saw it. Alison saw them, heard them, even talked to them. While other kids played with imaginary friends, Alison's friends were spirits seeking comfort or company. Sometimes the voices were whispers, other times distant laughter or sad cries. For her, the supernatural was normal. One day, playing in her room, she saw the spirit of an old woman. It wasn't something quick, but a clear presence with eyes full of stories and a voice that seemed to come from far away. Alison felt fear, but also curiosity. The old woman told her about her life and how she had died. She told her things about her childhood, her family, happy and sad moments in that very house. Alison listened carefully, feeling like she was part of something very big. Scared but intrigued, Alison ran to tell her mom. She spoke quickly, mixing fear and amazement, while trying to explain what she had seen and heard. Her mother hugged her to calm her down, although she wasn't quite sure about the story. Although, at first, she didn't believe her. Over time, Alison's mom couldn't deny her daughter's visions. What Alison told her was so detailed that it didn't seem made up. Little by little, her mom stopped doubting, became worried, and finally accepted it. The details Alison gave about dead people she didn't know were too accurate. Names, dates, memories, and secrets came out of her mouth as if they had always been there. This is how the story of a girl connected to the afterlife began. Growing up with this ability wasn't easy for Alison. It was like having two cell phones ringing at the same time, one from the real world and one from the spirit world. Sometimes the spirit's voices became overwhelming. Fortunately, Alison found mentors who helped her understand and control her gifts. She learned to differentiate her own thoughts from the spirit's messages. She discovered how to channel her energy to communicate with the afterlife in a controlled way. At first, when Alison approached the authorities to offer her help with unsolved cases, she was met with skepticism. A psychic solving crimes? It seemed like an idea straight out of a Hollywood movie. However, Alison didn't give up. She knew her abilities were real and that she could amexi di kopo tomesate ises des tomesisto di mo was that the testais de so far be temperance. With persistence and courage, she presented herself to the Phoenix police, ready to prove her gift. The turning point in Alison's career came with a particularly complex case, the murder of a woman under mysterious circumstances. It was a cold and silent night, and the crime scene was shrouded in an air of uncertainty. The news shocked the community, and the pressure on the police was immense. All eyes were on the investigation, waiting for answers that seemed impossible to find. Out of respect for the victim's family, I will keep her name private. What's important here is not the identity, but the impact this case had on Alison's life and the public perception of her abilities. The victim was a loved one, and her loss left a deep mark on those who knew her. The police were completely stumped. There were no witness, no clear fingerprints, and no apparent motive. The detectives went over the evidence again and again, but every lead seemed to hit a dead end. The case grew more and more frustrating, and despair began to fill the air at the police station. That's when Alison, using her psychic gifts, decided to step in. She entered a deep state of concentration, searching for any spiritual connection with the victim. Through visions and feelings, Alison managed to grasp bits of information that no one else could perceive. She felt the fear, the confusion, and finally, the truth hidden behind the crime. Alison described details of the crime with astonishing accuracy, mentioning objects, places, and even emotions that only the killer and the victim could have known. Her account matched elements that the police had not yet made public, which left the investigators surprised and, for the first time, hopeful. Thanks to the information provided by Alison, the police were able to focus the investigation in the right direction. After weeks of intense work, they managed to identify and capture the killer. This case was not only solved, but it also marked a before and after in Alison's career, demonstrating the value of her abilities in the pursuit of justice. After the success of the murder case, Alison's reputation as a gifted medium spread like wildfire. The authorities began to ask for her help more often, and Alison became a regular partner in missing person cases, unsolved murders, and even kidnappings. Her ability to talk to the victims, get details of the crimes, and give clues to the police made her a very valuable helper. So, what is Alison Dubois doing these days? Well, she continues to use her gifts to help law enforcement and families looking for answers. In addition to her work as a medium, Alison has become a successful author, sharing her experiences and insights in books like Don't Kiss Them Goodbye and We Are Their Heaven. She also gives lectures and workshops, inspiring others to explore their own spirituality. The incredible story of Alison Dubois captivated the world and made its way to the small screen with the hit television series Medium, starring Patricia Arquette. The series showcased Alison's life as a wife, mother, and medium, solving crimes with the help of her gifts. Medium aired for 7 seasons, garnering great success with audiences and critics, and cementing Alison Dubois as a legend in the world of mystery and the paranormal. And so ends the incredible story of Alison Dubois, a woman who transformed her gift into a tool to help others and bring justice. What do you think about Alison's story? Well, I must confess that she's the only person I admire and have followed for a long time, so I can also understand my own gifts as a medium. What about you? Do you believe in psychic powers? Don't forget to leave your comments and subscribe to Mati TV for more amazing stories. See you next time!